The chaps are on. You know what that means? Let's get cutting. Welcome back, Firewood addicts, to another episode of Travis Does Firewood. Today we have a new to me saw. I don't own the saw. Check this out. I've been alluding to this for a few episodes, but now it's time. It's time to reveal this Echo saw. This is the Echo CS 4910. I believe this is about 55 cc's. This is not my saw. You all remember Tony from the podcast. He sent me this saw. This is on loan. He sent me this saw to try out, but there's something special about this saw. Tony has ported this saw. Now, I don't know much about porting and ported saws. I do know that air intake and outtake has been expanded, been modified. You can kind of see on the front end here, on the muffler on this side, how this piece here has been kind of played with. See my finger here, played with here. So I don't know the ins and outs. Again, I'm not a small guess engine mechanic. Tony is, and he likes to fiddle. And he had the idea of like, hey, Trav, like, what do you think about me sending you one of my ported Echoes and trying it out? Because now this is an older one. This is from like 21, right? But there is a new thing with Echoes now finally having to rival the Husqvarnas and the Steels based on power, based on dollar amount, that can reach that full potential of power to really be in the same comparison bracket. This is not one of those, but I guess I'm showcasing the Echo power and Tony's skill of a ported saw. So there's YouTube videos, a whole bunch, and then channels devoted only to porting. You may have heard of porting by Ripsaw on Becky and Billy Ray's channel. It just adds more power to the saw. It may not necessarily adjust the cc's of the saw. The motor itself stays the same. It's just the air intake and the air outtake that is modified and adjusted to allow for more power. So I was gonna do this in the last video because it was a holiday, and now it's no longer a holiday, and it's after 10 a.m. I don't like to run noisy equipment before 10, even though there's a noise ordinance in most places where you can't make loud noises before some time period. And I'm sure that's at like 7, my time, but I want to be courteous to my neighbors. So this is going to be loud, so we're going to be wearing some ear protection, but we're going to fire this up right now. We're going to use my handy small battery powered saw with MacuView, which I think it was Tony who suggested this, or maybe someone else in that chainsaw video, or yeah. So I'll measure this log here. We got this in the resourceful video that you all saw. We'll mark it up, and we're gonna test this out. Now, Tony sent the head to me via like pirate ship or something like that. It's the cheapest way to send heads. Now, it would be more cost to ship with the bar and the chain. So he sent me, this guy is awesome. He sent me a brand new Oregon chain. Yes, Oregon. This word here is pronounced Oregon, not Oregon. If you pronounce it Oregon, you don't know what you're talking about. Oregon. State right below me. Oregon. Anyway, sent me a brand new Oregon chain, 20-inch, and two brand new chains. This is one chain. Let's check this out. It's over here. Sent me 2 chains to try. Right now we have the speed cut on right now, and then we have the control cut. Both Oregon chains, I have not touched them. I have not touched the rakers. I have not sharpened the teeth at all. They're straight from the box, which I don't think it's going to matter because this saw is going to rip and it's going to blow your eardrums out. It's going to be crazy. So, it's all gassed up, all lubed up. I am running the red armor in the fuel mix. I have been converted. No more running cheap mix. Spend the money on the good mix oil and use the money that you may have saved and buy cheap bar oil. I'm just some 2 cents. I'm no longer going to run cheap mix oil, run the good stuff, and I hope that will provide some longevity to the cylinder and piston. So without further ado, I'll get you set up and let's start this bad boy up, and you can hear it scream. So, that definitely woke up the neighbors if they weren't awake yet. Anyway, I don't know what to say. That thing just screamed through that log. I only needed to cut it once to get down to size, but I figured I'll cut one more cookie just for fun. Did you hear that? Did you hear that just like open up full throttle? Wow. There's something to be said with a ported saw. I mean, there's that like louder is better type mentality, and I think a lot of us want something that's quieter, kind of like we're seeking out a generator that is quieter. Well, having a ported saw is literally the opposite. You're going louder to get more power. Not everyone has the knowledge or the capacity to port a saw. If you don't know what you're doing, I would not mess with it. If you understand small gas engines, the exhaust, the air intake, try it out. Tony seems to know what he's doing. I have full faith in Tony. Definitely have been texting back and forth with certain questions about chainsaws, and I am very lucky, very happy that he sent me this Echo saw to try out. This is awesome. So yeah, I'm into this wood that I got from that tree service place that I picked up, and I don't think I have any more. Oh, I have one more log right here. I have one log right here. So let's try out this log, and then I may noodle some of these pieces to see how this ported Echo, does with noodling. I don't think Tony will mind me using his saw for noodling, but this is a cool experiment just to try out and handle here this ported saw. Check out these shavings right here. Check out this. This is a brand new chain, and I haven't touched it. You see how there's like these like long pieces in here. Usually you just usually get chips, but they got like these long pieces, almost like it was noodling almost. But I wasn't. You just saw me. I was just bucking up this log, but there's these small pieces in here. Like that's just tearing through this wood, and it's definitely wet. So this needs to be split as soon as possible. So let's get the other piece of log out, and let's try this out again with this chain. Let's maybe noodle one or two of these rounds with this chain, and then let's see. We'll switch chains and try the other one. I don't know, just maybe like comparison's sake, or just see. I don't know if I'll do like a time lapse or a timer on it, but we'll see how the other chain does too. But we're psyched. I mean, I don't like ripping all the way through or noodling around with the chainsaw. I like using my metal wedges. But if you're gonna be that fast with it, with a saw, I mean, you might as well just go through it. I would say that was faster than my Husqvarna 460 going through it. Maybe that's because the chain on the 460 needs to be replaced, and that's on me. And I'm not gonna probably do a comparison episode on those two saws, or this saw versus any other saw that I have. I don't think it's hard to compare, because it has 50 plus cc's, but being ported, you're adding so much more power to it. Now, I could have ran through this a little faster. That's my fault, because there were shavings on the ground, and I want to ensure that I was not hitting the chain on the ground. But that, you saw this ported Echo just ran through that round, just ran through it like no problem. There's definitely a power boost. I don't know what the saw was like prior to being ported. I do know that not all saws can be ported, but I mean, you just hear that raw power. I'm wearing these earplugs and then wearing my helmet that has the ear muffs on it, just to make sure, because this thing is freaking loud. And check out these shavings, noodle shavings. That is beautiful. Look at those. Ooh, 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 ooh. Sexy. Smells good. I don't know what type of wood this is, but it smells very good. You smell. Yeah, it smells great, right? I do mention that about smells. I ended up, got some in my goatee here. I ended up buying some cedar essential oil, and I use that on my chest at night time after I shower for the day, and it does smell nice. It does smell nice. Not like cologne, just some oil, and just that wood smell. Whew, it's top notch. I like it. So we ripped through the one chain. Let me switch chains real quick, and let's see if we can find some logs, or we can noodle through maybe one or two more of these rounds, so it's easier for me to maneuver manhandle to the splitter, because I need to get these things split and put in this little woodshed here very, very soon. Now that spring is here, Easter has passed. I know sometimes with like firewood folks, Easter is like a milestone time frame. You need to have all your wood processed, stacked, ready to be seasoning for the following fall. Am I to that point? No, and I'm sure a lot of you are at that point too, because time goes, we get busy. But if we want to have wood seasoned, ready to go, dry for the fall, we need to get on it. So this is one of the loads that I need to get on it. But I wanted to showcase this ported Echo from our buddy Tony. So let's change out the chain, and I'll get right back to you now. All right, so got the other chain on the Echo. I'm confusing which one is which now, so I'll put the name of it down below. So I have the new one chain on. I won't use these chains enough, at least for this demonstration, to need to stop and tighten them. But yeah, just note, when you have a new chain, they will stretch. So you need to make sure that after a few bucks that you stop, check the tension on the chain. If it's loose, to tighten it up real quick, and then keep at it, because you don't want a loose chain. That's bad. So I'm going to this round a little bit too long, so I'm gonna slice it real quick, and then we're gonna noodle it. Now, I asked permission for Tony that I can use his Echo to noodle, because some people kind of finicky on using saws and what they're using for, but he's like, heck yeah, go for it. So we're gonna buck this real quick, get it down to size, and then we're gonna noodle. So let's check out how this thing does. So I say that Echo just tore through that round. Not at the very bottom. It's tough when you're noodling sometimes, especially when that's all you're using is the chainsaw to noodle. When you get down to the very bottom, you don't want to hit the ground. And yes, it takes a few seconds to roll the round over, but it's just, I mean, I guess I'm accustomed to using wedges, so I brought out my orange wedges. I need to get some more of these things. These are handy, but this is getting kind of hammered. I think this was a 10-inch at one point, and then just got slowly. Anyway, but they ripped through it. That doesn't smell very good. Kind of had this weird smell to it. I don't know. But I think it's like a conifer, like a fir. But let's try to noodle some more, and then I think I'm gonna finish this out. We're gonna try to buck up some of the cherry that I got from a neighbor, and then we'll end this video. But definitely a loud monster. Whatever magic that Tony did he did well. So I'm thoroughly impressed. So let's get on more cutting. So no doubt, Tony's ported Echo is a monster. It screams. I'm sure it could probably rival my 460 with the right new chain on it. It just tore through those rounds. Either I was bucking or was noodling. Thoroughly impressed. Now that I have woken up all my neighbors and thinking to themselves, like, what is Travis doing down here? It was just a quick demo. I'm not sure if I need a ported saw. Definitely, if I ever wanted to get a ported saw, I would definitely go with someone to do that porting for me who know what they're doing. I'm not going to even attempt to port a saw. I know that all saws cannot be ported. Some saws can, some saws cannot. It all depends on the specs and the figures. But I may have some more things lined up in the realm of porting. Now, from what I understand, there's a big debate amongst chainsaw pros and folks about porting, and there are people who are pro porting, people who are anti porting, which I don't quite understand. I know the gist of it, but if it's your saw and you want to port it, like, what's the issue? I guess it's a cheaper way if you have a saw that's a smaller cc and you can't afford to upgrade, but you can't afford to either pay someone to port the saw for you, or you know how to do it yourself, just to get as much power as you can from that saw, from that head. Why not port it? By porting my saw, it's not going to hurt the next guy down the road. It may hurt his ears, or their ears, but I mean, to each their own. To each their own, and no judgment. So that's what I'm going to say about that. I like the saw. Definitely, there is a quick response time on the trigger, like you saw that. And even if I lightly pulled on it on the throttle, it went. It wanted to go. I'm sure she's almost near empty on gas right now. She's definitely a thirsty girl. I'm thoroughly impressed with what Tony has done, and I thank you, Tony, for giving me the opportunity to showcase this saw. That's awesome. I'm sure Tony would be willing to entertain any questions about porting saws, how to, or if a saw can be ported, etc. As of right now, from what I understand from Tony, he's not in the position to port other people's saws, so tread lightly there. He's a busy guy, but definitely I think he did a wonderful job on this. Now, Tony has other Echoes like this, other ported saws, so he's not in a big rush to get this, for having me to get this back to him. So if there's anything that you want me to do else with this saw, you let me know. I don't have anything else to really cut or buck or noodle, really. I mean, this is a 20-inch bar, which is the same bar as my Husqvarna 460 and the Pinkway 63 ACG. So I have the longer bar length, so I can do pretty much anything. I just don't have any wood to really cut right now in the yard. I would to split, obviously, but not to really cut. So, but if there's anything you want me to do with this saw, you let me know, and we can probably tackle it. So, thank you again, Tony, for letting me use the saw. That was a cool gesture, and I am honored to consider you my friend. So thank you again, everyone, for watching. Rock and roll. Stay safe. Keep cutting. Cheers.